December of 1997, and we have not Saturn Bomberman, but Saturn Bomberman Fight, released for the Sega Saturn exclusively in Japan. An odd little game, being sort of an in-between of 2D and 3D, with an isometric perspective. Gameplay consists mostly of bomber duels in this new format, and while there's no campaign mode proper, there is a story here. A bomber tournament is being held, and whoever wins can have one wish granted. Our contestants are White Bomber, trying to protect peace and make sure no bad guys win the free wish. Black Bomber, who is there too, I guess. Honey, who in this game is a bounty hunter and is in it for the money. Kotetsu, described here as Honey's apprentice, who wants to further his training. Denta, a ninja from Edo period Japan who was brought here by a mysterious light, and was told to go defeat White Bomber. He also has a rivalry going on with Kotetsu, even though Denta is from Edo period Japan, and Kotetsu is from... actually, we don't know, so he might as well be too, I guess. Oh, and here's Keppo, not a participant, but still in the game. Golem Bomber, who, presumably after the events of Super Bomberman 3, wandered around in the forest and was found by Mommy, a toddler who nursed him back to health. Then Mommy's mother fell sick, and since she doesn't have money for a doctor, both Mommy and Golem are competing to get the mother back to health. Louisa, a princess from who knows where who is tired of her sheltered life and wants some excitement from the tournament. Baguro, yes, Baguro, who is kinda based off of Shaven Bagura from the Panic games. He's a huge fanboy of Bagura and wants to take over the world, I think. I'm not sure. Rodibun, a robot built by the Higgy Higgy Bandits, but a failed one who didn't like fighting, so he was thrown into a dump, but ran away and wanted to run really fast, so he enters the tournament. Higgy Higgy Grunt number 12, who I guess wants to beat Bomberman. Pui Pui, a monkey who liked stealing food from the tournament, and somehow ended up a participant. Peggy Jr., a generic enemy from some of the older games, who never says anything and just stares, and nobody knows how he ended up here. Pampu, or Pump, a Shinigami, or death spirit, who is unhappy because she has only collected weak souls so far and wants to collect some stronger souls. And Daryl, a naked slime lady created from the data of past tournament participants by an underground organization. Which underground organization, though? The one from the NES game? No, that's too much of a stretch even for me. She looks like what I think is supposed to be the goddess statue that grants the wish, and she serves as the final boss for most characters. Phew, you got all that? No? Good. So you can play as all of these characters, and all of them can use bombs, including the toddler and the monkey. You pick one and you fight a bunch of rounds against various predetermined opponents with fully voiced dialogue before and after the fights.
Osaru-san, kawaii.
Until you fight Daryl, and then you get that character's wish granted, more or less. It's very tongue-in-cheek. Honey, for instance, wishes for money, but then is buried in it so she can't move anymore. Some sites have translations and summaries of some of the dialogue between these characters, but not all of it, sadly. Honey is shown to be an abusive master to her apprentice Kotetsu. Remember how Honey was sort of Pretty Bomber? Well, Pretty Bomber was eager to avenge her fallen companions in Panic Bomber W, while Honey fights Golem Bomber for the bounty on him without a second thought. So that would be something that speaks against them being the same person. Golem says to Higgygrunt number 12 that he left the Higgy Higgy Bandits a long time ago, meaning he was a member of it at some point. He's supposedly coming straight from Super 3, which was released before Saturn Bomberman, that established the Higgy Higgy dudes as a faction, so how does this work? The Dastardlies are bomber cyborgs, meaning they're based on humanoids, so was he in the faction before Bagura turned him into a bomber? Of all the games that both explicitly connects to other games, while also directly contradicting them, this one might just go the farthest with it. Anyone trying to fit these games together will have a hard time reconciling this one. White Bomber mentions a professor to Mommy, but we don't know if this is Mitsumori or Ein. Black Bomber is shown to be much more rude than White, even saying a swear word, although it is bleeped out in-game. All these characters have different stats, speed and damage and health and such. Speaking of which, we have health bars now, so we don't die in one hit. Also, the stages have slopes, but for the very first time, we can jump on command. without the assistance of a Louis or spring, and without jumping off a ledge. We can even double jump. Explosions are cross-shaped, but when this bar fills up, we get one giant bomb to throw. We don't need power-ups to kick or throw, and one new power-up is this horse here, called White Horse even though it's brown. We can ride around on it until we take a hit, but it doesn't die. Anyone who catches it can get back on. Story mode has us play through the aforementioned bomber tournament with all the dialogue. Survival mode has us fighting duels with the goal of beating 50, and battle mode is, as expected, a more open multiplayer mode. You can give players handicaps, and the only music I could tell isn't original is the battle mode music. So, who won the tournament in the end, canonically? I don't know, let's just call it an Elder Scrolls Dragon Break and say everybody won. So, what's the deal with everyone being able to use bombs now? Not just cameo characters like in Saturn, but even all the guys in Baku 64 and toddlers and monkeys in Saturn Fight? I guess everyone can now, but as for who is able to build a Bomberman? Well, the technology seems to have been invented by Mitsumori. The one Carrot Diamond and Dr. Mook built was called a fake Bomberman, so I guess it doesn't count. G. Ganzu built the Dastardlies, but was then retconned into Bagura, and Mechadoc used bombs but never explicitly built a proper bomber, so that leaves only Mitsumori and Bagura, who definitely 100% have the technology to do so. If Mitsumori invented it, I wonder how Bagura got a hold of the technology. Bagura is also shown to be a bomber himself since his introduction, and he has had explosions, so he is at least partially a robot, but he did have an organic brain, so he must also be a bomber cyborg. Wonder what human or humanoid he was built out of. And then there's the line from the Super Bomberman 2 guidebook, indicating that White Bomber and the Dastardlies have the same creator, which would imply that Mitsumori and Bagura are the same person. Oh, come on, that's dumb. That can't be. Mitsumori is a bald, egg-shaped scientist with a big bushy beard, mustache, and eyebrows who built an evil Bomberman clone and then disappeared. His cameo in Do-Re-Mi Fantasy would mean the devs haven't forgotten him, so he should be hiding somewhere, but I don't know where. Meanwhile, Bagura just sort of came out of nowhere. Everything about him is a mystery. And he's a bald, egg-shaped scientist with a big bushy beard, mustache, and eyebrows who built a bunch of evil Bomberman clones. Wait. No. Okay, if you'll allow me to indulge in some theory territory. Well. Has Mitsumori been hiding right under our noses this whole time? But how would that work? He's a good guy and Bagura is an evil villain. For a while I thought maybe Mitsumori was evil all along, but that couldn't be. Mitsumori doesn't explicitly build White Bomber for justice in the Japanese manual, but it does specify Black turned evil because of a programming error. So he was trying to build good guys, so what would make him turn evil? Well, what turned Black evil? The programming error, or computer bug. Bagura. If Mitsumori invented the Bomberman technology, maybe he tried to turn himself into a bomber cyborg, but then the same programming bug happened and that's how he became the evil villain Bagura, who is now ever trying to defeat his original creation, White Bomber. It's all coming together. But if Mitsumori has been right under our noses this whole time, then what about his daughter Lisa? What happened to her? On the official side of things, we know even less about her than we do about Mitsumori. Not much to go off of here, but let's see. A girl, a damsel, pink dress, brown hair. No, it couldn't be. Pretty was Honey, except there's also evidence against it. Honey fights Golem with no hesitation and has black hair, whereas Pretty Bomber, without her helmet, has brown hair. The Dastardlies are bomber cyborgs built by Bagura and have the same creator as White Bomber. If that's true, then Mitsubori/Bagura would need a human out of which to build Pretty. And if all of that is true, then who might he have used if not his very own daughter, Lisa? I wouldn't know about the others, though. I don't know, maybe Brain is Dr. Mook? No, that doesn't work. Mook's mech is more similar to magnets, and Brain invented the remote control, which was present in TG-16 already, and I don't know. Also, yes, I used Mechadoc's music from the anime for that part, but come on, the world needs more harpsichords. Okay, enough theories. Let's finish 1997 with Pocket Bomberman, released just one day after Saturn Fight in all regions. Originally for the Game Boy, but the international release was for the Game Boy Color 1 year later. Long ago, a dark cloud covered the sun because a monster had sealed the Sword of the Sun, and thus it's up to Bomberman to climb the evil mountain and fight the 5 monsters to collect the 5 Power Stones. Because Bomberman is the last one capable of doing so. So is this in the past? And Bomberman's the last hero? I should mention the Japanese version refers to this character as Hero. And what's Indie Bomber from GB2 doing in the background of the North American manual here? Bomberman appears to have an axe and a sword and armor in the artwork and the level intros, but during gameplay he looks pretty standard. The first thing to notice is that while we are back in 2D, it is now a side-scroller. We can walk left and right and place bombs and jump. Bombs can be placed in mid-air and used as platforms, making for an interesting twist to the series. There are gates to bomb open, blocks to bomb for power-ups, and enemies to kill to deactivate the gate. And seesaws. Some of the enemies are trees with sunglasses. All the regular power-ups are here: bomb up, fire up, remote control, penetration bombs. World 1, the forest, has our regular theme extension we all know and love. And our boss is this floating tree thing who spawns caterpillars and butterflies. World 2 is an ocean. How is there an ocean on a mountain above a forest? With fish, flowing water, icicles. How do icicles fall underwater? And here's where we see a new power-up: wings. With wings, we can jump while in mid-air as many times as we want, thus giving us unlimited flight. Now, how exactly wings help you to fly underwater in an ocean inside a mountain above a forest remains a mystery. The boss of Worlds 2 is our oh-so-beloved bubble-spitting crab. Except it throws the bubbles more than spitting them? He spits them in the artwork, though. On to World 3, Wind, where we find, well, wind. Cyclones. And our boss is this undead pterodactyl. World 4 is the Cloud World with spring chickens, lightning, and this spider. But spiders have 8 legs, so this would have to be an insect. World 5 is called Evil. So the evil world of the evil mountain? Is there a good world of the evil mountain? Is there a good mountain that has a good world? This monster looks familiar, though. Watch out for black holes. And more undead pterodactyls. Also, the roulette from Saturn is back, so see if you can get some goodies while you're there. The final boss is called Babylon. No, that's not another misspelling of Bagura. That's what he's called in Japanese too. So is this Bagura's ancestor? Or a version of him that fell through the time warp? With Babylon defeated, Bomberman, or Hero or whoever, obtains the 5th Power Stone, with which he can unseal the Sword of the Sun, giving him a costume change. Thus, the sun started shining again. The end. No credits for us. No battle mode in this game, but there is a jump mode where we always jump and try to get to the top of this place. And here we have the only other appearance of the Midnight Bombers from Panic Bomber Virtual Boy. Except for Monster Bomber. Sorry, Monster Bomber. Though it's not a battle mode, we do have another remix of our battle mode music.